How you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat moving silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Big Cat Astrology, Big Cat Wave, as we unpack Destiny's reset in work and health. The Virgo partial solar eclipse at 29 degrees and 4 minutes on the 21st of September 2025. Big Cat, the Virgo prelude, the new moon in Virgo on the 23rd of August 2025 at 0 degrees and 22 minutes. It began the season with a new moon at the very doorway of Virgo at 0 degrees and 22 minutes, the threshold degree. It whispers of fresh starts in work, health, and routines. Virgo at 0 degrees opens the ledger clean, asking for order, precision, and accountability. This was the seed planting moment. Reset your systems, refine your rituals, and prepare for the harvest ahead. However, unfortunately, many ignored the quiet signal. They chose comfort over correction. What was gentle in August would now not be gentle again, darling dear. The blood moon reset before the lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th of September 2025. 2 weeks later, the full moon in Pisces turned crimson. A blood moon eclipse? Pisces rules secrets, illusions, and spiritual debts. Under the eerie red light, masks slip, and lies, they dissolve. The emotional floods revealed who was loyal and who was lost in fantasy. Grief, endings, betrayals, and sacrifices became visible for all to see. The blood moon loosened the roots of old systems. It washed away illusions and softened the ground for Virgo's scalpel to cut deeper. This corridor will reach its climax with a partial solar eclipse at 29 degrees Virgo, the aneric degree, the dark reset, the point of crisis, the final exam. Virgo here makes no compromises. What began as a whisper at 0 degrees Virgo in August now shouts at 29 degrees Virgo in September. The eclipse shadows the sun, symbols of authority, forcing truth where lies were buried. Hidden motives, systemic failures, and weak structures will collapse. The Virgo-Pisces axis is activated. Where Pisces wept, Virgo files the report. Where Pisces exposed illusions, Virgo rewrites the system. This is not just a new moon, it's the dark reset. Normally, September's lunation closest to the equinox is the harvest moon, lighting the longest nights so that farmers could gather their crops. But the eclipse distorts the harvest. This is karmic reaping, not agricultural gathering. What you planted months or years ago now returns. Some harvests bring blessings, others are poised and must be discarded. Virgo rules work, health, service, and administration. Law, education, pharmaceuticals, and civil services are also spotlighted. Everyday matters become battlegrounds. Routines, paperwork, and diet demand corrections. The planet players. The Sun plus the Moon at 29 degrees Virgo. This is what creates the solar eclipse reset. A critical Virgo degree magnifies endings and new beginnings in systems, health, service and daily rituals. Anything broken in routines, whether documents, well-being practices or time management, can no longer be ignored. Virgo's scalpel cuts out what is infected and demands clean precision. The eclipse enforces a non-negotiable reset. What does not serve your higher purpose collapses so clarity can take its place. Saturn's retrograde at 27 degrees Pisces opposite the eclipse, the karmic auditor. The Virgo Pisces axis highlights service versus sacrifice and faith versus facts. Saturn's retrograde delays results until debts, spiritual or literal, are addressed. Authority figures review the past with sharpened attention. Bureaucratic red tape thickens and reviews intensify. Accountability lands where excuses once lived. Jupiter at 22 degrees Cancer sextiles the eclipse. Homegrown grace. Jupiter in Cancer expands through nourishment, family systems and ancestral roots. Small domestic adjustments ripple outward into bigger growth. Educational or legal blessings may come through family or housing matters. Hidden support within networks cushion the eclipse's sting. Stability at home becomes the foundation for wider expansion. Uranus retrograde at 2 degrees Gemini. Shock waves in the wires. Uranus retrograde disrupts communication, paperwork and local networks. Sudden breakdowns in suddenly hit emails, transport or tech. Old agreements resurface with a twist. Backup files and double check every digital system. Shock becomes loopholes for the flexible. Mercury at 18 degrees Virgo conjunct the eclipse. The revealer. Mercury rules Virgo and stands powerful here in both domicile and exaltation. Fine print is dragged into the light for inspection. Lies collapse under scrutiny. Contracts, SARs, FOIs, and complaints. All these files expose hidden details. This is the receipt drop moment. Venus at 28 degrees Leo, semi-sextile to the eclipse. Value check. Venus in Leo demands pride, beauty, and display. Virgo insists on utility, efficiency, and function. Spending patterns reveal that what is vanity and what is necessity. Ego clashes with practicality in matters of worth. Self-esteem is tested. Underselling and overspending alike will collapse. Pluto retrograde at 1 degrees Aquarius quincunx the eclipse. Structural stress test. Pluto retrograde pushes systemic reform and deep, powerful shifts. Aquarius innovates while Virgo clings to administrative heel dragging. Institutions reset reform, but cracks in the facade will widen. Corruption and cover-ups come to light. What is rotten cannot survive. The fixed star Denebola at 21 degrees Virgo in orb, out of step with society. Denebola empowers leaders who rebel, reform, or resist conformity. Eccentric voices will challenge the mainstream narrative. Punishment may come for breaking ranks, yet so does reformist recognition. Backlash is temporary, legacy is disruption. Vesta in Scorpio trines the eclipse, sacred service. Vesta ignites devotion, discipline, and forensic precision. What you commit to becomes unshakable. Research, investigation, and focused service are empowered. Endurance and persistence prove more powerful than the noise. Juno in Scorpio sextile the eclipse. Contractkarma.com. Juno governs partnerships, deals, and commitments. False alliances will collapse under Virgo's test. Hidden agendas in contracts are exposed. Authentic bonds will deepen and solidify. The eclipse seals fate. The fake fall away. The true agreements will always stand. This is not a nice eclipse. It's a forensic audit of systems, contracts, and power structures. Expect collapses, exposures, and karmic tests. But also breakthroughs for those armed with receipts, devotion, integrity, and persistence. Chinese Zodiac Intel. This year is the year of the wood snake, the strategic restraint. You see, Big Cat, the wood snake year is not about rushing. It's about precision, patience, and striking only when the target is clear. The snake hoards knowledge like a secret weapon. Every move in 2025 is karmic. Reckless players expose themselves. Disciplined players inherit the board. Think strategy over speed, evidence over emotions. And with the snake setting the tone, we know it's time to look at the month ahead. Because the month is Rooster Month throughout September. Audits and proof. The rooster crows at dawn, exposing what's hidden in the dark. September remains under Rooster's watchful eye. This means audits, accountability, and receipts that come forward. Rooster's energy is exacting. It cannot tolerate sloppy work, lazy systems, or lies. In combination with the snake, the rooster becomes even more forensic. Together, snake and rooster form a powerful alliance. Snake plus rooster equals spy master duo. Snake and rooster form one of the most strategic alliances in the zodiac. The snake supplies secrecy, subtlety, and psychological depth. The rooster supplies sharp eyes, discipline, and uncompromising truth. Together, they hunt out corruption and expose what isn't clean. Nothing escapes their joint inspection. Not paperwork, not contracts, not hidden motives. For those living honestly, this duo is protection. But for those living falsely, this duo is prosecution.com. With that alliance in place, let's see how and who stands to gain. The winners under the snake and rooster combo. Obviously, rooster benefits because it's in its home territory. Authority is amplified. Snakes thrive because the year begins and belongs to it. Subtle moves win big. Dragon rises through alliances with snake and rooster. Visionary reforms get traction. Ox gains because it's discipline and patience. Mirror, snake energy. Those four signs stand to receive rewards, protection, and recognition. But not everyone is safe under this sky. Horses face obstacles. Impulsive energy clashes with snakes' patience. Dogs is scrutinized, loyalty tested. Hidden betrayals will be uncovered. Pigs is pressured. Indulgence and carelessness are punished. Tiger is challenged. Ego must bow to precision or face downfall. These signs must tread carefully, slow down, choose accountability over pride. Some signs are not in danger, but must tread carefully. The middle ground signs are the rat. They can thrive, but only by aligning with clean systems and avoiding manipulation. The goat survives through discipline, not daydreaming. Comfort zones are dangerous to the goat. Monkeys are innovative, but tricks backfire under snake plus rooster scrutiny. These signs succeed only when they clean up their game. Integrity and precision are their only safe paths forward. Bestie, the bottom line, The Snake Here plus Rooster Month is a cosmic forensic team. They reward strategy, receipts, and patience. They punish arrogance, shortcuts, and false appearances. Winners move quietly, backed by evidence. Losers are loud, sloppy, and exposed. Your numerology for the first few days after the eclipse. On the 21st of September, the energy is a 3 for communications, contracts, and clarity. Day 1 after the corridor opens with the number 3. 3 energy amplifies speech, paperwork, and negotiations. This is the day when truths are spoken and documents circulate. Expect emails, contracts, or calls to carry karmic weight. Clarity is delivered, but it cuts both ways. Your words can free you or bind you. On the 22nd of September, the day is a 4 for structure, schedules, and routines. Day 2 stabilizes with the discipline of the number 4. 4 energy builds foundations, routines, systems, calendars, and schedules. This is the day to organize, file, and lock down your details into place. Sloppy habits are punished. Precision is rewarded. Think a ledger being checked line by line. On the 23rd of September, the day is a 5 for unexpected shifts. Adapt fast or be left behind. 5 energy is freedom, disruption, and movement. Sudden news, travel changes, or paperwork surprises arrive. What felt certain on day 2 may twist on day 3. Adaptability is survival. Resist clinging to control. On the 24th of September, the energy is a 6 for family and work balance because it's going to be tested. 6 energy highlights home versus work tensions. Family obligations crash into professional duties. Hidden power struggles in domestic systems may surface. The lesson is integration, not avoidance. On the 25th of September, the energy is a 7, withdrawal and plan in silence. This is the day to step back, analyze, and gather wisdom. Silence becomes a weapon. Not all moves must be revealed. Research, reflection, and spiritual insight bring answers. Withdraw from drama to protect your energies. On the 26th of September, the energy is an 8. Enforce power, fees, and budgets. 8 energy rules power, money, and contracts, as well as consequences and ramifications. Fees, fines, or debts will surface for payments. Budgets demand revision. Excess is punished. Discipline is rewarded. Authority tests boundaries, who holds control and who obeys. On the 27th of September, the energy is a 9, public ending and karmic closure. 9 energy signifies endings, release, and public resolution. Contracts conclude, truths are finalized, and karmic debts are settled. It's a day of closure. No more rewrites. No more appeals. What falls away was never meant to stay. Remember I told you that, big cat? So the real winners under this sky are earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. You carry the advantage. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces also thrive under trine support. Placements at 27 degrees and 29 degrees feel the strongest shift. These individuals face endings and beginnings, but emerge upgraded. Body intelligence. Virgo rules the intestines, digestion, and gut-brain loop, as well as your nervous system. Eclipses distort circadian rhythm, immunity, and gut healing. Saturn's retrograde slows recovery. Mercury's retrograde near the sign equals miscommunication in care. Avoid elective surgery between the 20th and the 22nd of September 2025 unless it's an emergency. more with consistent meals, fiber, water, probiotics, and a digital detox. When you are in misalignment, you may have IBS flare-ups, bloating, and nervous exhaustion. Helpful initials are prophetic clues tied to real-time planetary transits. Each letter represents a name, a place, or a platform. For example, C can represent clause, Claire, custody, contract. H could represent hearing, Howard, hospital, hidden. L could represent legacy, lawyer, Leo, letter. Now, let's unpack the sign-by-sign prophecies. Aries, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 6th house. Work and health routines are disrupted at root level. Old toxic tasks collapse under karmic weight. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees resets your daily rhythm and demands clean systems. The Mercury in Virgo in its domicile and exalted exposes the fine print in work contracts and procedures. The Saturn retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse forces accountability for overwork and health neglect. Mars is the ruler of Aries, a reminder to channel with precision, not impulse. The helpful initials B, H, T. Your job is not your jail. Reset the routine, reclaim the throne. Taurus, sun, moon and rising. The eclipse hits your 5th house of love, creativity and pleasure that are karmically tested. Joy needs a schedule and art needs a spine. The sun and the moon in Virgo at 29 degrees put creative projects through a systemic audit. The Mercury in Virgo is in its domicile and exalted, clarifies specs, timelines and contracts around romance or art. The Saturn retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse brings a reckoning in love affairs and friendship groups. The Jupiter sextile rewards discipline and joy and steady routines with children and passion projects. Helpful initials F, L, M. Fun without form is chaos. Build joy like an empire. Gemini, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 4th house of home and family structures that will be reorganized and under pressure. Boundaries and domestic systems must be explicit. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees spotlights household admin and care protocols. Mercury in Virgo, it's in its domicile and exalted, itemized deeds, leases and family comms. The Saturn retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse ends long-running family patterns via consequences and ramifications. The Uranus retrograde in Gemini delivers shock messages or sudden paperwork twists. Helpful initials N, S, H. Home is not a holding cell. Rebuild. It's your sanctuary. Cancer rising, sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 3rd house of siblings, contracts and communications are being exposed. Your words become legal tender. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees magnifies the fine print in every message you send. Mercury in Virgo in its domicile and exalted surfaces inbox receipts and document errors. The Saturn retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse enforces the truth in travel, study and legal paperwork. The Jupiter sextile stabilizes you through family backing and nourishment. Helpful initials C, T, R. Your word is law. Spend it wisely. Leo, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 2nd house of finances and self-worth that are being collaborated by reality. Audits reveal what's essential versus ego spend. The sun and moon at 29 degrees in Virgo resets your value system and budget rules. Mercury in Virgo, in its domicile and exalted, catches pricing errors, subscription leaks, and fee traps. The Saturn retrograde in Pisces, opposite the eclipse, closes karma in debts, loans, and contracts. The Venus in Leo tests pride purchases against necessity. Helpful initials A, G, P. Your worth is proof, not promise. Price it properly. Virgo, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your first. Identity, image, and personal policies are rewritten. Update to bios, photos, and boundaries are due. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees. Crown or collapse, an outdated self-presentation. Mercury in Virgo, in its domicile and exalted, makes your voice precise, persuasive, and receipt-ready. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, opposite the eclipse, draws clear lines with partners and open enemies. Helpful initials H, X, J. This eclipse makes you undeniable. Stand tall in proof, not performance. Libra, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 12th house. Hidden drains and covert opposition are revealed. Rest and ritual beat reaction and debate. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees shift focus to cleansing habits and spiritual hygiene. Mercury in Virgo, in its domicile and exalted, itemizes what to release and when. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, opposite the eclipse, ends sabotaging routines and secret obligations. The Mars in Libra demands balance, boundaries, not people-pleasing. Helpful initials Q, Y, M. Your peace is your empire. Guard it ruthlessly. Scorpio, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 11th house. Tribes, teams, and networks face a competency test. Opportunities fall away. Loyalties rise. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees. Analyze group systems and shared goals. Mercury in Virgo, in its domicile and exalted, clarifies roles, bylaws, and deliverables. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, opposite the eclipse, cuts fair weather friends by consequences, not emotions. The Vesta trine in the eclipse rewards devotion with durable alliances. Helpful initials K, O, S. Your network is your net worth. Sharpen it like a blade. Sagittarius, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 10th house of career. Reputations are rebuilt on receipts. Overpromising gets publicly retired. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees. Audit your public systems and standards. Mercury in Virgo, in its domicile and exalted, forces clarity in statements, KPIs, and contracts. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, opposite the eclipse, exposes karmic bosses, shaky authority structures. The Jupiter sextile elevates leadership grounded in family honor and service. Helpful initials D, I, Z. Legacy is logistics. Repeat receipts, not rumors. Capricorn, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 9th house of law, publishing, and higher learning. Resets to reality. Certification and facts replace fantasies and hearsay. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees prioritize documented truth over vibes. Mercury in Virgo in its domicile and exalted. Briefs, applications and academic work. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse seals karmic rulings and long-running disputes. Helpful initials U, B, T. Philosophy is proof when applied. No more daydream. Laws need apply. Aquarius, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 8th house of shared resources and intimacy. Undergo a karmic audit. Contracts are rebalanced and parasitic ties severed. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees purge unhealthy money and power exchanges. Mercury in Virgo in its domicile and exalted enumerates clauses, fees and consent conditions. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse demands settlement of debts in full. Pluto quincunx the eclipse escalates systemic power struggles until the rot is exposed. Helpful initials V, R, H. Shared power is sacred. Freeloaders are finished. Pisces, rising sun and moon. The eclipse is in your 7th house. Partnerships and public contracts are redefined by the truth roof. Pinkies up. Equality becomes non-negotiable. The sun and moon in Virgo at 29 degrees resets relationship systems and terms. Mercury in Virgo in its domicile and exalted clarifies obligations, timelines and boundaries in writing. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces opposite the eclipse delivers reckonings with partners or open enemies. The Juno sextile in the eclipse protects fair contracts and dissolves fraudulent ones. The helpful initials Y, E, C. Partnership is proof, not poetry. Balance it or burn it. Big Cat. For personal chart insights or predictive astrology, email me at onebigcatchronicles@gmail.com. Until we meet again on these astrological streets, Big Cat Wave.